All right, so today I think I found the ultimate digital professional torque wrench. This thing is right on. So if you've seen the previous video, of course, we placed the icon against the snap-on, and from my results, well, you weren't getting much more for your money other than made in the USA. Yes, this one does cost more. The icon there running at about $330. I picked this Gearwrench up here for about $580. Now this is a torque wrench that they recently released, but I mean there's very little on it, and I don't know why. This is the E-Spec. So let me go ahead and bring you guys in closer. We'll open the box up. So as you can see, it comes in this nice case here. Now the case has foam on the top, and as an insert, we do have a charger, the adapter for it, and the USB-C cable, 2 rechargeable batteries, a insert here if you need to use AAA, a little screwdriver here, which doubles as a pointer, calibration certificate, pretty straightforward there. Basic instructions. When have you gotten a USB stick with a torque wrench? So on this USB stick, there are more instructions. We'll briefly go through that here a little later, and also the program for recording and presets for data off of the torque wrench. So if we look at the battery here, you see there's a door on the back. We open this door up, and there is USB-C. You can plug this cable into the back of the battery and then get the data off of the torque wrench. And then on the end here, do have a flex head. Looks like it's about maybe 10 degrees. And it has the 120 tooth ratchet head inside, which gives a 3-degree arc swing. You're just going to take this little pointer tool here, press in on the button. The head comes off. You can put the flex head on. You can get this with a fixed head. It is a little bit cheaper. I want to say it's about 80 bucks cheaper overall. Pretty much everything else is the same. Now as we look at the wrench, it will say 68 to 340 Newton meters. Now you can change the display between Newton meters, inch pounds, and foot pounds. Something very unique is if we unscrew this handle here, you pull this off, and now you have a knurled handle. I mean, it's not the greatest. It's actually pretty aggressive on the sides. I would have loved to seen something right here on the flat spot, but I mean, no other torque wrench out there offers you the option that I know of having knurling and then also a plastic grip there. And overall, that grip, I mean, it's rubberized. Of course, the yellow part's hard plastic. It feels all right. It's not the greatest, but we'll go ahead and power it up. So you got to hold it to power it up. You can see it has the date and time on there. Now, this is interesting. You can see when it first popped up, it actually asked me what head was on the torque wrench. So you can see they call this an SL50, and it was already selected for SL50. Now you can go in the menu here. So if we hold the power, you can see we have one listed as head setting. If we click on that, we can actually pick what head we have installed, or we can run a preset, in case we're got a wrench offset. You can get a wrench insert for this, and Gearwrench offers them on their site. But this makes it real quick and easy. You don't have to do any calculating, because I was concerned, about this flex head sits a little farther out than the standard head there. As you can see, the display is a blacked out display. I did bring the brightness up a little. I've changed some of the settings already. The menu navigating is extremely simple, considering all you have is 3 buttons here. You have a power button and an up and a down. So you do selecting with the power button, and you do navigating, of course, up and down with these arrows here. And believe it or not, this torque wrench is supposed to be good for 100,000 cycles before it has to be recalibrated. I'll say that again, 100,000. Actually on the USB stick, user manual. If we open this up, it's a PDF. Basically, the user manual you get in the box there. Go back to the drive here, you can see there's a folder, E-Spec Data Management System. This is an actual program to look at the data and adjust production presets. Gearwrench has a very good video on it. I'll leave the link in the description. So before we get started here, we can't go all the way down 250. It's like 50.70. Now I did have to go into the menu here and set the tolerance. Out of the box, it's set for plus or minus 4%. So yes, you can watch the screen and get it real close, but if you want to use the lights and get it plus or minus 1%, got to go in the menu, drop that down from 4 to plus or minus 1%. $50.65, 51, 50.86, and 51.40. 50.28. Now we'll move on up to 150. 150 on the money, 149.5. 149.4, 149. 148.9, 149.2. So it allows us to go to 248.5. So we'll save that. Again, on the bottom it was 50.70. See if we can get to around 250 then. 246.5, 245.7. 246.9, 245.5. 247.7, 248.1. I mean, so just like the other test, I have the torque wrench here on the front of the tractor. I've got my decibel reader here. Now I do have this set to 125 or pretty much half of max torque. So we're flashing. We're solid yellow. And then we're green. So basically we had a decibel reading there on the gauge of 54.8, not really loud compared to the rest. That's one thing I would say that could be improved on this. Now I did go into the menu here and turn that all the way up. You may have also noticed it does have an LED on the face as well. One thing to also note here is once you go ahead and torque, and you want to go right to the next bolt, you can hit the power button. Then it takes and records that torque, clears it out, so you can go right on, get right back to it here. Instead of having to wait for this to clear. So for anybody that doesn't believe me, you can see sum counter 1,000 cycles. 52.3, 50.94, 50.40, 50.71, 50.35, 50.81. Ah, man, this thing is accurate. So we're going to go to 150. 148.7, 149, 148.5, 148.2, I mean, 149.3, 148.9, 246.1, 246, 247.4, 247.6, 246.6, 247. Wow. I'm going to have to sell all my torque wrenches. This is incredible. So when we look at these numbers here, just keep in mind, I went off of basically the difference between the tester there and what was read on the actual torque wrench. You know, that accounts for my basic error of not getting spot on the target reading. But when we look at this, when we factor that in, I mean, the accuracy of this torque wrench, it's incredible. I mean, it's within what they claim. You know, once you get it set up there for that 1% tolerance, it's right there. I don't even have to factor in the plus or minus 0.5% accuracy of the tester itself here. We don't even need to consider that because of how accurate this torque wrench is. So now if we talk about angle, it's definitely a little bit different on this torque wrench. You have to remember we have two main modes. We have simple mode and then production mode. So in simple mode, it's just going to give you the actual angle here. Now in production mode, you can put presets in. So say you're constantly doing head bolts on a certain engine, it's got to be torqued to said spec and then angle. You can set that up in production mode and be done with it. Now if it's turned on, it's always active here displaying the angle, unlike the icon and the snap-on where you had to have at least 12.5 foot-pounds of load on the torque wrench before it started reading angle. This is always reading angle. So I'm going to go ahead and do this here. We'll see what we get. There's 90.4 on the torque wrench, and it's right at 90. I know it's kind of hard to show you guys that, but it is at 90 here. And of course, we were at 90.4 on here. Now it's already zeroed. Had 91.1, 92. One thing to note, you have to keep the load on it. Once you let off of the handle, it stalls out. Just keep that in mind. I mean, you're going to typically have a load, of course, on the torque wrench, so that's not probably going to matter so much. Let's go ahead here and go 180, 180.8, 181. Let's do 270. 271.6, 270 on the money. We'll go back and do 360 now. Oh, 363.2, 363. So here you have it with the angle. Seems to be within spec. Spec's supposed to be 1%. It was pretty much right on. Again, it's definitely a little bit different, but it works and it gives you an actual readout right there instead of having to, have force, on the torque wrench. Just be aware of that time. Once you let off, it's going to auto zero. Seems to work pretty well. So there you have it. I mean, you've seen the results. That's crazy. So again, you can get this in a fixed head, but I thought for the extra money, it was worth, getting that changeable head. So if something did happen to this, I mean, it is a very fine tooth. Again, if something did happen, I could swap it out real quick. And if I needed a little bit of a angle, I could put the flex head there on. Overall, yeah, I'm going to tell you, I think this is it. I don't know how you could really top this other than maybe being made in America, but I mean, then it's probably like a $2,000 torque wrench. I'll leave the link below to all these on Amazon. I mean, I'm definitely probably selling the Icon now, and I'm going to pick up the 1/4 and the 3/8 here because this thing is just unreal. Again, links are below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in another one.